Today we wanted to talk about mastering your debt toward the home ownership and give you some concept that might help you to give you some vision, no? If you have that planning to become a homeowner.
It might not so be so much concept with me, so much as facing a fear and just going after what
Yeah.
I really want, which would be a home ownership. And if what's stopping me, which for me was debt, I need to take care of it, which is something I was definitely afraid of. When we first got married with my student loans, I didn't want to talk about them. I was like, no, this is so depressing. It just makes me sad.
Mhm.
So I had made a huge mistake is how I felt. And I felt drowning in debt. And I didn't feel any hope. So by following these methods, it takes okay, I'm a grown up now. I'm facing my fears, going through everything, and then making sure everything is going to be taken care of. So it's adulting.
Saying the fear, we wanted to assess what is happening right now in our awareness too, no?
Okay.
Which about the debt awareness. And we gonna ask you a couple questions that it helps actually with this scenario that we were talking about. The first question is, do you know the total amount of your current debt? No, I know sometimes, as my wife said, my wife had a student loan, or any of you, if you have a personal loan, auto loan, whatever it is. The question is, do you know the total amount of debt that you have?
And when we first got married, I didn't even want to look at that number. I was like, no, I don't even know what that number is. I'm just paying it and paying and paying. I didn't want to look at it, which is really bad. So I'm just going to say there's no judgment here. Second question, are you aware of your interest rates on those debts? It's another one. When I was 18, I didn't understand. When I got my first credit card, I didn't understand what interest was and what it meant and all of that fun stuff. I didn't know.
Exactly. Like, for example, for auto loan, or for example, if you have a credit card debt, what is the interest rate is on those? And then the third thing that comes really important, means you need to take an action, is have you ever calculated your DTI, or debt to income ratio?
No, you're adulting if you got 2 out of 3 of those as a yes. And if all 3 are zero, or you just have one yes and 2 no's, it's time to kind of start thinking we can do better than this. We can take ownership and say what are the numbers that I have to face? What am I dealing with, and how can I handle? Well, we'll get to how you can handle it later, but what are my numbers? I have to calculate.
Saying that, first we need to understand what is the debt to income ratio is, no? Therefore, we have two kind of debt. One is front end ratio, which includes all of your housing cost inside of it. And the second one is the back end ratio. This includes all of your debt and obligation, including your student loan, car loan, personal loan, credit card debt, everything.
So, how do you feel about your ratios? If you can calculate them, total cost divided by your monthly income times 100, what is your front end number that you're already paying in debt? And when we first got married, I have to say that front end number was a lot, and it was overwhelming, and it was just made me sad, but it became better over time. 100%. Now, the back end, monthly debts divided by the grossly income, and that was my true killer.
Exactly.
Rising rents, and then my true killer of those
Therefore,
student loans.
don't apply the tax at that time. It's just your gross income. That's how we're going to define your debt to income ratio.
And if you are looking to buy a home, make sure that your pre-approval has gone through both the front end and back end. You have to make sure that they have calculated the numbers. They don't say, oh, sorry, we forgot your student loan number. That doesn't make any sense. Like, they should have done that number right up front, especially here in North Carolina, which is a no due diligence state. So if we pay money, we need to make sure that that money is non-refundable. You can't get it back. So you want to make sure that pre-approval is 100% ready to go.
Therefore, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that you stay on top of it. Now, we wanted to explore two methods, no, for the debt management strategy. No?
Absolutely.
You might have heard it or not heard it, but here we are.
And I think I should do snowball because I was at 18 years old, probably more of like a snowball person, and you are definitely 100% an avalanche person.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that, because I know you. So,
okay. What is a snowball?
Snowball is saying, look at all your debts. Say you have 20 debts or whatever. You look at all of your debts, your 10 debts. And then you look at whichever one is smallest and get rid of it. So you just start knocking off debts. If you just don't look at interest rates. We're just looking at total amount of numbers of debt. See, what is my smallest number? Get rid of that. Boom, 19 to go. And then you work your way up to getting rid of that, which means you're maintaining minimums on all of them, but you're getting rid of one at a time, which is the snowball method. And that does work for people who need to be motivated with that, like, okay, it's gone, and it's a little simpler to track. Now let's talk about
Before
you.
we do that, let's do our introduction.
Okay, absolutely. Let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time on our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Honestly, call text all the time at 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Now talk to me about Avalanche.
Exactly. Now, my personality is I don't like the paying interest rate. Therefore, that's what my wife said. Avalanche method maybe fits more my character.
Yeah.
And basically, what you do, you prioritize all of your debt that has the highest rate of the interest rate and pay them on that first, and maintain the other one just bare minimal. No. And what is the benefit in is the benefit is actually is the long term, because it doesn't give you the self-confidence like what my wife said about the snowball, because you finishing the small one right away and go to the big one. But instead, in the long term, over time, you might save much more money to do that.
And to be truthful, I would now follow the avalanche method myself, but I can totally understand the snowball method as well. So I am just saying both of them work. Whatever works for you is best. So we're going to kind of go through a little questions to really understand which one might be better suited for your situation.
Yes.
So that way you can understand, because both are good. Yes, you've convinced me avalanche is better. Yes, I follow your method now. However, that doesn't mean...
For my case, maybe for
and
the other
mine
one.
too.
That's why we wanted to have this motivational question from you. For example, the first question, do you feel more motivated by quickly clearing your debt, regardless of their size, or not? If yes or no. If it's yes, then the snowball method is your method. No?
Now, do you prefer saving money as your main long-term goal and you focus on those high interest ones at all? Then at that point, you're going to be more avalanche.
Avalanche, yes.
Yes or no?
Therefore, these two questions, you need to answer those two questions.
There's a couple more.
Now, the next thing that we wanted to talk, and we start with the financial awareness, no?
No, financial awareness kind of goes back to snowball and avalanche too.
Okay.
Because if you are more comfortable managing all of your debts and like you're like Excel king, or you can understand which one is working and you can do the math, then avalanche is going to work for you. But what's the other question? Yes or no? Are you comfortable with Excel and managing and tracking all your debt?
Oh, okay. That's going to be yes or no.
Yeah.
Or do you prefer a straightforward approach with the visible progress?
Right,
no?
like I got rid of the doctor check. Done, yes or no.
Yes or no.
Then the snowball.
A snowball is going to be your method. But of course, you going to have a long-term also financial goals.
Well,
no?
let's talk about the long term. Is minimizing your interest rates a major life goal for you? And if it is, then you have to be in the avalanche world. What about the other one?
And it's quickly reducing the number of the debts that is more than for your financial well-being. Then if it's yes, a snowball method is going to be your method.
So look at your yes and no's that we just asked you. Which one makes more sense for you, and follow that one, because that is going to be the one that's going to work. Because I can't tell you should definitely do avalanche if you're more snowball. So pick your lane, because at the end of the day, you're on a journey towards homeownership.
Yeah,
Right.
and what is that journey? Is the checklist that we want to talk about.
We'll have more later for the checklist, but it's definitely you have to have a monthly budget, and that means you have to manage your debt.
And pay more than the minimum on your debt. That is super important.
And then this is because you're saving for a down payment. So the more you are ready to buy a home, because you have figured out what your monthly debt is, you have paid more than your minimum, and you have some savings account, you're in a better mindset. So just remember, facing our debt, we have a whole series on credit and fixing your credit. Remember, fixing your debt isn't just numbers. It's about facing the fears that those numbers represent to you, and it is about creating a well-being for your future. I get that it's hard on a personal level. I really do. It can be overwhelming. It can make you sad. It can make you crazy. I mean, not like it can make you upset. And so I get it, and don't fear it anymore. It's time to move past that.
Therefore, it's kind of a self-reflection that you face your fear and write down your planning, that how you can overcome all these challenges is the first step for you toward the financial freedom.
Absolutely.
And please call us at 252-327-3357, and also leave us a comment. We love to hear your thoughts, and see you in next podcast and video.